Good morning and a special welcome to the newest members of our Albright community. As you gather here today, it is likely that you are probably facing a range of emotions. You may feel nervous, excited, and probably just a little bit tired. You are at the beginning of a journey that is one of opportunities and challenges. You will have opportunities to pursue independent research with faculty. You may join or start student organizations, perform, intern, compete in athletics, and study abroad. College is what you make of it. Jump in, try something new, and be a full participant. You will also be challenged, and at the heart of a liberal arts education is the ability to challenge assumptions and think critically about the subjects you study, the environment in which you live, and the lives that you lead in an increasingly interconnected world. Today, I want to speak to you about this interconnected and globalized world. The extent of such interconnectedness in technology, in trade, and in health is in many respects unprecedented. Although such interconnectedness is not entirely new, the pace of change is, and that presents new opportunities as well as urgent challenges. Your generation will be at the forefront of both, and a liberal arts education prepares you for careers and lives as active, engaged citizens in the 21st century. Take a moment to think about this world in which we live. Ideas, people, and goods travel the globe to an extent never seen among previous generations. The internet and other forms of communication technology enable news and ideas to be shared almost instantaneously. Revolutions, while not caused by technology, are shaped by its use, which even the most repressive governments cannot suppress. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and the ubiquity of smartphones are important elements of pro-democracy movements, including those that swept the Middle East in 2011. In the US this summer, we have seen the role of technology in exposing actions by and against police officers. Even reclusive countries, such as North Korea, cannot stop the flow of ideas into the country. CDs smuggled into the country bring banned soap operas, movies, and films from the outside world. Today, citizen journalists and netizens use the internet and other forms of communication technology to share information, to protest injustice, and to voice their opinion in ways that would have been unthinkable only a few decades ago. When a young girl named Malala challenged those who tried to stop girls from going to school in Pakistan, the internet became a tool to spread her message throughout the world. Increased interconnectedness of markets has expanded consumer choice, international trade, and the speed with which corporations can bring goods to markets worldwide. As of this writing, Pokemon Go is available in almost 7 countries and here at Albright College since its release only on July 5th of this year. And I do want to say a few words about global health. Whereas the first half of the 20th century was known as the golden age of public health, the first decade of the 21st century is known as the golden age of global health. Increased cooperation among governments, nonprofits, and the private sector combined with advances in medical and information technologies, have yielded enormous opportunities and subsequent benefits to generations worldwide. Millions of people with AIDS have access to antiretroviral therapy, a reality that many thought was impossible at the start of the new millennium. In developing countries, child mortality dropped 28% between 1990 and 2008. By 1979, international cooperation resulted in the eradication of smallpox, a disease which killed 1.5 to 2 million people per year by the mid-20th century. Because of cooperation across borders, we may see two other deadly and debilitating diseases, guinea worm and polio, eradicated by the time you graduate. But that is only if we maintain the willingness and resources needed for such international cooperation. Together we can move mountains. Alone, we can do much less. Recent trends have also contributed to shifts in how we think about our own identity. Surveys that have been conducted in multiple countries show that 70% of respondents identify themselves as global citizens. Surveys also indicate that this trend is especially strong in your generation. How will you identify yourself in future years? And how will that impact how you see the world and your role in it? Our increased interconnectedness may lead to greater opportunities for shared experience across borders, as we have seen with Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and smartphones. We have at our fingertips the ability to access information from around the world. In spite of these opportunities, we often fail to use this technology to connect with those who are distant or those who are different. Online, we as individuals select our own news, often gravitating toward echo chambers that reinforce our own views. As scholar Ethan Zuckerman has noted, our choice of friends, Facebook's algorithms, and the extent to which what we see online is filtered and shaped by our own interests, risk, and I quote, dividing us into rival camps that cannot agree on anything, including a common set of facts on which we could build a debate. Ethan Zuckerman's challenge to us is to analyze critically the ways in which we use the internet and other communications technologies, not only to pursue what we want to know, but to pursue what we need to know as active and engaged citizens in an interconnected world. Will we use the tools we have to bring greater understanding of those who are different from us, or will we use it to spread division and hatred? In the economic realm, our increased interconnectedness means that our own daily activities affect people we are unlikely to ever meet. Something as simple as buying a cup of coffee can have an impact on lives half a world away. As stated by the philosopher Kwame Anthony Appiah, it raises questions of ethics in a world of strangers. Increased interconnectedness in markets yields expanded trade and the ability to move manufacturing operations from one country to another with ease. But this also creates volatility. when markets in one part of the world are faltering, there is a greater chance that economic crises will spread to other parts of the world. The price of consumer goods may be reduced, but we cannot ignore the ethical questions raised about the individuals who produce goods and services in often substandard working conditions. The challenges to the environment and health are also urgent. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has demonstrated that the extent to which global warming impacts us all includes its impacts on high and low income countries, large continents, and small islands. It threatens economic growth, food security, and human health. Nevertheless, some populations have fewer resources with which to confront such challenges. As noted by my colleague Barty Thompson in a recent piece, the empirical reality of threats to our environment face the challenges of inaction due to smaller coalitional interests. Will we be able to overcome communal tendencies in order to address global challenges together? My own research focuses on global health, and as I noted earlier, technological advances combined with international cooperation have increased life expectancy and improved the quality of life for individuals throughout the world. But as the spread of the Ebola and Zika viruses prove, epidemics in one part of the world can evolve very quickly into pandemics with a global reach. The ability to look at what is happening to health locally, but place it in a wider global context is essential to our ability to meet urgently the challenges of the 21st century. When I began to study HIV/AIDS in the early 1990s and volunteered for local organizations, I soon saw that the epidemic in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, was linked to what was happening in local communities all around the world. This led me to study local efforts and national health systems in countries that included the Philippines, Cambodia, and South Africa. Seemingly local issues often have global ties in our increasingly interconnected environment. If we want to confront effectively the challenges to our own health, we need to know the scientific evidence of disease and illness, and not the myths that are perpetuated through ignorance. And both these myths and facts abound on the internet. We need to understand the social, economic, and political impacts of disease. We need to recognize the role that the lack of a functioning health system in Liberia, ravaged by decades of civil war, played in the spread of Ebola. And we need to comprehend how the cases of Zika that are now spreading throughout the United States are linked to decades of inadequate funding for mosquito control efforts throughout the world. Global health represents just one of the areas in which our increased interconnectedness brings new opportunities as well as urgent challenges. While we have made enormous strides, approximately 18 million people die of poverty-related causes every year. And today, there are more displaced people in the world than any other time on record. Will the technology that spreads images of a young child sitting covered in dust and blood after surviving a bombing in Aleppo, Syria, change how we respond to humanitarian crises? A liberal arts education is in many respects uniquely placed to help us understand the complexities of our very interconnected world. It brings together a range of academic disciplines to promote understanding and knowledge. It prepares you for a lifetime of inquiry and action in a very challenging world. The scholar Martha Nussbaum notes that a liberal arts education helps us to develop the empathy that is needed in our roles as active and engaged citizens in an interconnected world. A liberal arts education will also challenge you to analyze critically the subject matter in your courses, the world in which you live, and your own beliefs. I would be remiss as a political scientist if I failed to acknowledge the elephant and the donkey in the room. We live in a country in the midst of a presidential election that will have repercussions around the world. We can all use this opportunity to try to analyze critically the election beyond the sound bites, the rumors, and the rhetoric. For those of you able to vote, I urge you to exercise this right as an active, engaged citizen, scholar, and participant in an interconnected world. Thank you for your attention. On behalf of the faculty, welcome to the Albright community. We really do look forward to meeting you in the coming years.